John Beltran, Dave Urich back from Beet Digger Stadium as we approach the third quarter kickoff with the Beet Diggers leading the Olathe Pirates 13-6. As the Beet Diggers have a 4-yard touchdown pass from Mitch Tormolen to Eric Garcia and a 1-yard run by Kyle Rosenbrock. And right before the break, Olathe got right back into the game on a 2-yard run by the quarterback Ben Kaler. And again, as we mentioned right before the break, the Beet Diggers received that third quarter kickoff. And what type of field position will they have? Because, I mean, the one thing that we saw in last year's game, even though the Beet Diggers lost, is that they did control special teams. And so Olathe had trouble punting the ball. And then you see right here, as we referenced earlier on that 4th down and long, it went for a fake punt instead of playing the field position game. And, Dave, that ultimately is the difference in the game because that resulted in a Beet Digger touchdown, and that's the margin right now at 13-6. But I think in that first half, the Beet Diggers did have the better field position, but it just goes to show you that if you're determined enough like Olathe was right before the break, you can take it 87 yards down the field like they did and make it a game once again. So now the Beet Diggers will have to come up with a big play on special teams, reestablish field position. And again, what's going to be the strategy offensively? You'd like to run the ball. I mean, that's what Brush likes to do. Last week, 48 runs and 8 passes. But with the way Olathe has been able to stop the run at times, you might have to spread the field out a little bit more because, as you mentioned, when the Beet Diggers have gone to a double-tight formation, they have struggled out of that formation, but others have been more productive.
Yeah, it seems like when we were in our 300 and 400 formation where we had a flanker and a wide receiver on the same side, we were able to spread them out, and we ran the ball a little bit more effectively. But, you know, it's tough. You know, we just have to figure out what works for us, how we're going to attack them, and then just start attacking. And we've mentioned that so many times that you just keep pounding it until they finally get tenderized enough that something breaks. And right now, nothing's breaking for Olathe because we're not. You know, we don't have that rhythm. We don't have that attack. We're not in that attack mode in a certain area, at least from what, you know, we can see.
Well, and you look at the athleticism of Eric Garcia. He's proven today to be much more valuable as a receiver, which has been throughout the course of the season, as opposed to a runner. I mean, when his game is really going and the Beet Diggers are blocking, you can utilize him as a running back and a receiver. But unfortunately for him, with the limited amount of times he's touched the football out of the backfield, it hasn't been too successful. So, I mean, the Beet Diggers have got to be smart with their play calling, and it's something that Coach Dreitz mentioned during Beet Digger Blastoff. They might have to call an audible or two because they didn't need to call an audible before they scored that first touchdown, but they did call a timeout, which kind of serves as an audible because it resulted in what they needed, which was 6 points at that point, and that's part of the reason they're up 13-6. But they're going to have to be very smart with the play calling at this point.
Yeah, like we've been saying, you know, they just have to figure out what's their rhythm going to be, what's their game plan, how are they going to attack this defense, and then understand that, you know, Olathe is sending those linebackers. Their middle linebacker, the Troy Rose, he's been tearing us up, you know, in the middle. We haven't been able to run our trap. The trap's not open, so that's forcing us to try to run off tackle. But when they call a blitz that's in the B or C gap, then that's what's messing us up out there, and we're having a hard time running the ball then because the hole's plugged up in the backfield. So, you know, again, we just have to understand that when they're blitzing like that, they're going to get lucky and they're going to guess right sometimes. And whether you call an audible or not, if they're blitzing both linebackers, you could choose to run it on the other side, but it's not going to matter. The point is sooner or later, those guys are going to run right past our running back, and we're going to get those big runs like what we saw Chris Lee get there basically in the first quarter.
Well, last week the Beet Diggers came up with 3 turnovers, committed none, and they won the game by 29. The Beet Diggers have come up with 2 turnovers in this game and committed none, and they only lead by 7. So if you're Olathe, you have to believe that, I mean, this game is for anybody's taking at this point because normally you're playing a number 1 seed and you're -2 in the turnover category. You could be down by double digits, but that's not the case right now, which is why this opening possession of the third quarter is going to be huge for Brush as the Pirates take the field here to begin the third quarter, and Eric Garcia and the Beet Diggers will be ready to receive this third quarter kickoff at 417 Main Street in Fort Morgan, Platte Valley Hearing Center, getting your hearing to its very best.
You know, last year, remember in the championship game, we jumped out ahead of them in a hurry, a couple of touchdowns, and then maybe started celebrating a little bit too soon, or maybe we relaxed. Maybe that's something we saw there right there at the end of the first half. You know, we're up by 2 touchdowns. We relaxed a little bit and forgot that these Pirates are going to fight to the very last second.
And they certainly did at the end of the opening half with that 13-play, 87-yard drive. So Garcia and Trevor Blake will be the deep men. And Garcia's only standing at the 16-yard line. And that's going to be in the air, and the ball is loose, and I think that a Olathe Pirate, as a flag is down, is that kick even allowed? It's an offsides called against Olathe as they try to just pooch that ball. Well, the B-Diggers got to be – how many times have we mentioned that last week, Dave? The B-Diggers have got to be ready for an onside kick or anything that's obviously going to be a little bit challenging for them. But now Olathe has got to kick off from the 35-yard line, and now they'll be prepared. So I'd be surprised if they try a squib, an onside, or a pooch at this point.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, they had us on our heels there because we dropped the ball. Had there not been a flag, we'd have been in trouble.
Trevor Blake has to back up. Garcia is going to drop the ball, pick it up at the 20-yard line, along the sideline to the 30, back towards the middle to the 35. He's taken down after a return of 16 at the 36-yard line. Maybe the 37. That's where the B-Diggers will take over with 11:52 to go here as we begin the third quarter. And again, the first couple of plays here will be very interesting to see what the B-Diggers do, because we had the momentum changer right before the break, and the B-Diggers want to reestablish that to begin this third quarter. 13-6 Brush, 1st and 10. Lee and Carter are in the backfield. Garcia's in motion to the right. Tormolen, play action, looking to throw. Plenty of protection. Heaves it deep up the right side. It's incomplete. Thought he was going for Garcia. Threw it underneath, actually, for Baker. 2nd down and 10. Yeah, I'm surprised that he went underneath because that play just didn't materialize.
No, and there was so much pressure. He got hit right when he threw the ball, and that's why it was so errant. But, it took a long time for Baker to come all the way across the field on that play, and Garcia had to wait. Tremolin had to wait a long time to finally be able to get that pass off.
Well, it's pretty obvious that just based on that first play, they want to open this thing up. But now they face a 2nd and 10 at their own 37-yard line. Albo's the receiver to the left. And Tormolen will hand it off to Carter, running left, breaks a tackle, and then dives to the 40-yard line, picks up 3 yards in the play as the tackle was made by Anthony Aguilar. It'll be 3rd down and 7 after the gain of 3.
And that's more like it, going back to that off tackle over on the far side. Brush picked up 3 yards. And that's a pretty good carry. If we got 3 yards every single time, we'd be happy with that, because sooner or later you're going to bust that one loose.
Albo's now the receiver to the right. 3rd and 7 for the B-Diggers at their own 40-yard line. Tormolen is going to roll to his right, looking to throw. Pressure coming. Works out of it. Throws it deep over the middle. The pass going to be tipped and incomplete. Intended for Trevor Blake at the 37-yard line, and well defended by the Pirates, and the B-Diggers are going to have to punt. And they only held the football there for 50 seconds to begin the third.
Yep, we kind of got away with one there as the ball was tipped. There was 2 other Olathe Pirates back there to help make the coverage. Olathe was showing 4 linebackers blitzing, but only sent 1, and that was the guy that came up the middle and really got in Tremolin's face before he had a chance to throw it.
Tyler Stratman to punt from his own 26-yard line. Cole Gretz back to receive at the 20. Awaiting the snap. It's a low one. It bounces in. Stratman gets it off, and that's not a bad punt at all towards the sideline. Bounces at the 30-yard line, takes a B-Digger roll inside the 30 to the 22, and that was an MVP type of punt, considering that could have been disastrous. A punt of 38 yards, and Olathe has it with 10:50 to go in the third, with the B-Diggers leading the Pirates 13-6.
Good job, Tyler Stratman. Boy, anybody else would have probably picked it up and tried to run it and panicked, but instead he just took a one-step lead before he kicked it and was able to get off a beautiful punt.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm agent Greg Mullen is there. Let Greg Mullen work with you to get the discounts you desire and the coverage you need. State Farm agent Greg Mullen. 2 receivers out to the left and right. Shotgun for Kaler, and he's going to keep the football running right, and he's down at the line of scrimmage. Penetration by Daniel Soto. It'll be 2nd down and 10. The B-Diggers read their keys there perfectly, Dave.
Yeah, it was just that option. He left the ball in the belly of his fullback for quite a while before he pulled it back out, and luckily the Diggers were out there ready to make the tackle on the end.
2nd down and 10 for Olathe at their own 22-yard line. with Brush leading by a touchdown early in the third. And the Olathe passing game was very productive in the opening half. They made the plays when they needed to. Under center this time is Kaler. Corey is in motion, and there's the pitch to Corey running along the sideline, and he's going to gain a few yards across the 25, maybe to the 26 or 27. And the tackle was made by Eric Garcia, and they'll give him, looks like 5 yards to the 27. Third down, and we'll call it a long 5. That ball's closer to the 26 after the official pickup of 4 by Willie Corey.
It wasn't really an option. It was just kind of an end-around pitch.
On third down and 6 for the 26. And a shotgun is Kaler. Awaits the snap. Back to throw. Looking. Pressure coming. Up the right side. There's a man out there. It's going to be caught inside the 45 to the 41. Garcia was out there, but Taylor Carlson makes the catch. And it's a gain of 33 yards and a first down for the Pirates.
He just muscled his way in front of Garcia as he went back to the ball, and Garcia was in position. He was in position to probably come up with the interception, but, just physically just wasn't able to fight for that position and just got overpowered.
First and 10 for Olathe at the Beat Digger 40, looking for the tying score with 9:23 to go in the third quarter. Brush 13, Olathe 6. And the Beat Digger crowd has quieted down since that big play. Shotgun formation for Olathe. Kaler awaits the snap. Has the football. He'll hand it off right up the gut. And Cole Gret is into the secondary, inside the 20, along the sideline to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Olathe. Cole Gret 40 yards away, and the Pirates are to within 1. It's 13-12.
Just nothing fancy. He's the only back in the backfield, and Kaler took the shotgun snap and just turned and handed it to him, and there was just nobody there to make the tackle.
Now the extra point to be attempted by Kaler. And again, that momentum that they established at the end of the second quarter has transferred over to the beginning of the third. Ben Kaler to attempt the extra point and tie the game. The snap is down. The kick is up, and that one is going to be off to the right. It looks like it is. 9:04 to go, third quarter in this 2A quarterfinal. It's Brush 13, Olathe 12. You're listening to the 2011 Colorado High School Football Playoffs on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. 4 plays, 78 yards, and a minute 46. Cole Gret scores from 40 yards out. The PAT was short and off to the right. The Beat Diggers still have the lead. They've not trailed in this game, but it's only 13-12. With 9:04 to go in the third, and Ben Kaler to kick it off. And this is going to be a line drive, and it's going to be fielded by Garcia at the 15 to the 20-yard line, running to his right to the 25, back to the middle to the 30. Garcia along the left sideline to the 40. He's got running room to the 50-yard line. Check that. It's Vince Albo. Vince Albo is the one who's going to cross the 50-yard line, and that's where the Beat Diggers will have possession of the football, and that return by Albo. A little switch made there. And they've got it in Olathe territory at the 49-yard line, a return of well over 40 yards. And now the Beat Diggers have got to take advantage of the field position.
Well, I'll tell you what, Albo did a good job of pulling that thing down. He ran right up the middle, and once he got past that initial surge, he just cut it to the sideline over in front of the Pirate bench and picked up some nice yards.
Albo's had a great game so far with the fumble recovery, the interception, and now that return. First and 10 for the Olathe 49-yard line. Tormolen's going to hand it off to Lee, running left, and he's got a seam across the 45, and he's inside the 45 to the 42, gaining 7 yards in a play. The tackle was made over there by Ronnie Mumm, the senior corner. It'll be second down and 3, and the Beat Diggers need a lot more of that.
You betcha, but just going back to that wing tee offense that we've used all year and running out of that 400 formations, just making that work for them. The Diggers have to get some confidence in what's brought them to this point.
Second down and 3 to go for the Beat Diggers at the Olathe 42-yard line, leading 13-12 as Olathe was down by 13 but now trails by 1. In motion to the right is Bostrom. And there's the give to the D-back Rosenbrock with a stiff arm, and he drives his way towards the 41, and there's a flag down. That's going to be a face mask against Olathe. So that should add 15 yards to the end of the play because it looked like he was actually pulling on that face mask. We'll see if they call it a personal foul. It is a gain of 2 to the 40. And the preliminary indication is going to be personal foul face mask, and they'll actually mark it off for the 41. So officially a gain of 1, and with 15 yards, the Bee Diggers will have the ball at the Olathe 26-yard line.
Yep, but we'll take it. I'll tell you what, Rosenbrock was doing a good job of keeping his feet, and he kept driving his feet, and that's one of those things that draws a penalty like that because guys are just grabbing and clawing trying to get you to the turf.
1st and 10 for the Bee Diggers at the Olathe 26-yard line. We're under 8 minutes to go in the third. Albo's the receiver to the left. Rosenbrock and Lee are in the backfield. Tormolen on 1st down got Olathe to jump. And across that line of scrimmage for Olathe was Rio Green. So the Bee Diggers now face the 1st and 5. And when you face a 1st and 5, Dave, obviously it opens up the playbook. But, at this point, that's what you got to do. Get that defense off of rhythm because they got into rhythm.
Yeah, they're just teeing off on us with those blitzes. And Troy Rose right there in the middle, he's just picking an A-gap on either side, and him and Rio Green are just plugging things up and keeping they may not make all the tackles, but they keep our guards from pulling.
1st and 5 for Brush at the Olathe 21-yard line. Again, Lee and Rosenbrock in the backfield. Blake in motion to the right, hand off to Lee. Big hole up the middle to the 15. He's on his feet to the 10-yard line, breaking to the 5, and is he into the end zone? Touchdown! Touchdown for Chris Lee! From 21 yards away, the Bee Diggers are back on the board. Brush 19, Olathe 12.
So there's what we were talking about. We reaped the benefits of their blitzing because they sent 2 linebackers, and Lee passed him as he was running through the line of scrimmage. There was nobody there.
Well, last week it was Tyler Carter. This week Chris Lee has put together some nice runs, and that one from 21 yards out is the 3rd touchdown for the Bee Diggers in the game, the 3rd different Bee Digger to score after Eric Garcia and Kyle Rosenbrock got into the end zone. Now a huge extra point for the Bee Diggers to put them up by 8. Eric Garcia to hold. Awaiting the snap. The snap is perfect. The kick is up, and that kick by Jesus is good. 7:29 to go, 3rd quarter in this 2A quarterfinal. Brush 20, Olathe 12 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. 3 plays, 49 yards in 66 seconds. Chris Lee scores from 21 yards out. Extra point was good, and the Bee Diggers lead the Olathe Pirates in this 2A quarterfinal 20-12. Set up by that long kickoff return, about 40-some-odd yards there by Vince Albo, who's had an excellent game today. As Trenton Pyatt and Cole Gretsch are back to receive, and Jesus to kick it off. And this is a line drive towards the sideline. Pyatt fields it. He bobbles it at the 6-yard line to his right to the 10, across the 15. Then he's taken down across the 20 at the 23-yard line. Tyler Carter made a big hit. And then getting up off the bottom of the pile for the Bee Diggers was Tyler Stratman. So now Olathe got it at their own 23-yard line, but now it's become about the defense.
Hey, Stratman's been in the middle of a lot of good plays today. He was right there as well, helping to slow down Pyatt there on that play.
1st and 10 for the Pirates at their own 23-yard line. Receiver split out to the left and right. Cole Gretsch is the lone setback in a shotgun formation. Looked like there was movement by Olathe. Back to throw up the right side, and Albo gets turned around. The pass is going to be caught inside the 50 to the 49. And I think the Bee Digger fans wanted some interference, but instead it's a gain of 28 yards and an Olathe 1st down as Carlson made the catch.
Exact same play every time. It's not like they're trying to fool anybody. They just send him right down the sideline, and then Kaler throws it to the inside, and then he just lets Carlson fight for position. And we don't, he's so physical out there. We don't have anybody to use their body to keep him away from the ball.
Well, the Bee Diggers are going to have to make an adjustment defensively at this point. 1st and 10 for Olathe inside the Bee Digger 49-yard line. They're taking a lot of time in that huddle. And if Olathe doesn't get to the line of scrimmage, they're going to have to take a timeout here midway through the 3rd quarter. And they do take a timeout. We'll take it with them. 6:50 to go, 3rd quarter. Brush 20, Olathe 12 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. 1st and 10 for Olathe. Just shy of the Bee Digger 48-yard line with 6:50 to go in the 3rd in this 2A quarterfinal. Brush leading Olathe 20-12. Kaler in a shotgun, low snap, is going to roll to his left. He's got plenty of time, and now he's going to run out of traffic, move ahead to the 45-yard line, and he's spun down inside the 45 towards the 44. And Daniel Soto made the hit, but that's a gain of 5 yards for Ben Kaler. 2nd down and 5 to go for the Pirates.
Well, that just showed that time we had some good coverage on the receivers because he didn't have anywhere to throw the ball, so that's a good sign.
Your one-stop center for projects around your home office or yard is Ackley Building Center, 1402 Mill Street in Brush. That's Ackley Building Center. 2nd down and 5 to go for the Pirates at the Beat Digger 44-yard line. Kaler will keep it himself, and he runs straight ahead to the 41, maybe the 40-yard line. It's a gain of 3, and taken down from behind by Soto again. Daniel Soto's name's been called quite a few times here, but it's a nice situation for Olathe. 3rd and 2 at the 41 of Brush.
So Kaler, as he was running to the right, the ball was still in the belly of his fullback. He didn't pull it out to the last second as he headed through that off-tackle gap.
3rd and 2 at the Beat Digger 41-yard line. Again, Kaler in a shotgun. Corey's in motion to the right. Kaler, this time, play action, rolling to his right, throwing underneath. The pass is tipped and complete. Off the hands of Corey. So off his hands, and no Beat Digger was able to deflect it. It was just thrown high, and now a big decision for head coach Ryan Korn on a 4th and 2 at the Beat Digger 41.
Kaler's thrown the ball 15 times and completed 8 of those. We'll see what Korn does here because he's got to feel pretty confident with Kaler's position out there on our corner.
Big play in the game for the Beat Diggers, and actually for the Pirates as well. 4th and 2 with a football at the Beat Digger 41-yard line. Pass out in the right flat is caught, and breaking a tackle right at the stick at the 39-yard line is Carlson. It looks like that's going to be a first down from this vantage point based on where they're spotting it along the sideline, and the Pirates believe it's a first down. It is. It's only a gain of 2, but that pass out in the right flat gives the Pirates a first down and keeps the drive moving. The Beat Diggers could have stopped that play right there.
Yeah, they had him, but we flew in there and left our feet. A lot of times guys will get so excited to make the big hit that they leave their feet, and when you dive like that, it turns into an arm tackle sometimes, and that's what happened.
5:12 remaining, 3rd quarter in this 2A quarterfinal. Brush leads Olathe 20-12. 1st and 10 for the Pirates at the Beat Digger 39-yard line. Kaler in a shotgun. He's going to hand it off to Gret running right. He dives towards the 35-yard line. Picks up 4 yards in the play. And again, Daniel Soto was out there, as was Maverick Seawald. But Olathe will take that, Dave, all day.
Yep, 4 yards in a cloud of dust. The only problem is, time's not on their side right now.
But we're only in the 3rd quarter. Your one-stop shop for all of your banking and investment needs, from checking to savings to IRAs. Morgan Federal Bank, 321 Ensign Street. Morgan Federal Bank, there's a difference. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender. 2nd and 6 for Olathe at the Brush 35-yard line. Kaler's under center. Corey in motion to the right, and we've got a flag down. And is that going to be against the Pirates? No signal as of yet. This is either going to be a 2nd and 11 or a 2nd and 1. So it's a big call here because the officials are still convening, and no call's been made by the referee.
Well, it was thrown from a position where, they couldn't have said it was an offside against our defense,
right.
So it's got to be against Olathe.
Are they going to wave this off? I mean, you take this long, there's some suspicion that they could wave it off because you would think at this point that a call would have been made. Second down and 6 from the 35, but still no call has been made.
Here we go.
Illegal procedure against Olathe. I don't know what took so long.
I'm not sure either. I think Coach Korn over there on the sideline, he's just livid because he's saying that his guys weren't in position yet. So I don't know if he's saying that he was going to put somebody in motion or what the deal was.
It'll be 2nd down and 11 yards to go from the Beat Digger 40-yard line. It's an 8-point Brush lead with 4:22 to go in the 3rd. Both teams have scored a touchdown in this quarter. Olathe missed an extra point. The Beat Diggers made theirs, which is why a 7-point halftime lead is now an 8-point 3rd quarter advantage. Kaler in a shotgun. Man in motion to the left. And there's going to be an option left. Kaler will run with the football. He's hit right at the line of scrimmage. All the Beat Diggers were right there at the 40-yard line. No gain. And you can count the number of Beat Diggers. There were multiple Beat Diggers in on the play, including Bryant Woodward and Raul Calderon.
One of the only guys
Felix
that was,
Calderon, I'm sorry, Dave.
That's all right. One of the only guys that wasn't in the play was Vince Albo, but that's because he was the corner over on the far side. About everybody else that was there to help make the tackle.
Third down and 11 to go from the 40. And again, this is going to be 4-down territory. And the Bee Diggers have not come up consistently with the big plays on 3rd and 4th down in this game, even though they've only allowed 12 points and we're late in the third quarter.
Well, get ready for Carlson here over on that far side.
Corey's in motion to the right on 3rd and 11. Play action, rolling right is Kaler. He's got some pressure coming, and he's going to take off with the football along the sideline, cuts it back. He's going to dive to about the 38-yard line after getting hit at the 39. And it looked like Ethan Brost made the first hit. And the official mark will be the 37. It's a gain of 3. 4th down and 8 to go for Olathe. Well, it looks like Kaler's going to be in punt formation.
Vinny Albo over there at that cornerback position. He had good coverage on Carlson. They couldn't throw the ball where they wanted to.
Well, they got to watch out for the fake. They tried it once before. Awaiting the snap is Kaler, and this time he'll punt the football high and spiraling towards the sideline, but it goes into the end zone, and that's a break for the Bee Diggers because all that does is amount to a 17-yard punt with the net. Bee Diggers with 2:50 to go in the third, leading 20-12. Will have it at their own 20-yard line.
That was one of the nicer punts we've seen, in a long time. The ball was a tight spiral. Ryan Corn, the coach, he was a punter. He was a wrestler for Western State, but he was also a punter for Western State's football, and I know he was all RMAC in the punting department.
1st and 10 for Brush at their own 20-yard line. At 502 Ensign in downtown Fort Morgan, the place to shop for all of your appliance needs is B&B Appliance, a member of the Brand Source retail program. What Brush hasn't had in this game is that long, sustained drive that they've been accustomed to having. On 1st down from the 20, Bostrom is in motion to the right. The handoff to Lee running left. He is stuffed in the backfield, and luckily he spun back to the line of scrimmage to avoid a loss. Penetration over there by Ben Kaler. And again, this is where the Bee Diggers have got to exploit the perimeter, Dave.
Yep, they're doing a good job of plugging us up there on the inside. They get so much penetration in that A-gap that it's just hard for us to pull our guards out there, so we're going to have to attack the outside a little bit more.
2nd down and 10 from their own 20-yard line. Approaching the 2-minute and 15-second mark of the third. Brush 20, Olathe 12. Rosenbrock is now in that backfield. Now Blake is in motion to the right. And Tormolen will hand it off to Rosenbrock, running right with a stiff arm. He broke one tackle, trying to break more, and he's out of bounds just across the 20, maybe to the 22 or 23. And Taylor Carlson in on the hit. A gain of 3, 3rd down and 7 to go for the Bee Diggers. Another tough situation. Are they going to remark this football? Let's see. The officials coming in from they'll give them 4. 3rd and 6, but still. The Bee Diggers have got to pick up this 1st down if they want possession of the football going into the 4th quarter.
Boy, now that great punt's looking more and more important, isn't it?
Without a doubt. The receiver to the left is Albo. 3rd and 6 to go for Brush at their own 24-yard line. Tormolen on the pitch left to Chris Lee. Cuts it back, and he's got nothing. He's going to try to get around the end, but he's got a yard to the 25, and that's it. Looked like that he wanted to make a move back to the middle and really couldn't do it. Tackled along the right sideline, and the Bee Diggers with 1:08 to go and the clock running are going to have to punt, leading by 8 late in the third.
Yep, they just end up trying to attack the outside that time, both times, to the right and to the left side, but Olathe is showing a lot of speed on their defense, closing in and making some sure tackles.
Well, at some point in the playoffs, Dave, you're going to be challenged, and the Bee Diggers are being challenged this afternoon. Tyler Stratman at his own 10-yard line. Let's see if Olathe tries to block this thing. Awaiting the snap. A little bit off to the right, but Stratman is going to have it blocked, partially blocked. The ball's going to be loose across the 35-yard line to the 40, and Olathe is going to have the ball at the 42. I think a Pirate touched it. A Pirate touched it, which means it should be Bee Digger ball.
Yep, that's right.
That ball was touched over there by Troy Rose.
Yep,
that should be Bee Digger football.
Yep, I think the officials are asleep on that, though. They're not sure what's going on.
It looked like Rose touched it first. If Rose touched it first, it would be Brush football, but it looks like they're going to give it to Olathe.
Yeah,
Dave, I don't know about that.
The official on this near side, I think he might have fell asleep a little bit on that play, and just kind of ran out there and was worried about the spot and didn't pay attention to who touched it first.
Well, either way, the play made by Rose was one of the stupidest plays I've ever seen. I mean, you get away from that football, Dave. You don't come close to touching that football if you're the receiving team.
You know, as soon as he touches it, then there's a problem, and you always tell your kids that when they punt the football, if you're the punter and you're going down the field, to make sure you pick it up and hand it to the official, because the ball's not dead until the official blows the whistle. That might have been what fooled Troy Rose. And
Kaler's going to hand it off to Gret running left, and he dives inside the 40 towards the 38, a gain of 3, and that's the end of the third quarter with the score. Brush 20, Olathe 12. You're listening to the 2011 Colorado High School Football Playoffs on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com.